You highlighted that it's a little bit of a concern that you've been in good positions and possibly could have taken the game on and gone away from the opposition, and that hasn't occurred. So how sort of do you work with that? Do you work with it by talking to your players, or is there something that you can try and do out on the training ground?
Both is the answer, yeah, because we had a little review yesterday in terms of analysing and opening up the floor to the players as well, because it's good to get an insight from them as well. You know, we're paid to have the answers, but we don't always have all of them. They live the game, they're within it. So, you know, we've got some intelligent footballers in there who all know the game. So, we canvassed the floor as well yesterday, and we come up with some insightful ideas as to why our second half performances aren't as strong as the first half. You know, as I said to you on the interview on Saturday, we certainly don't tell the players to sit back and not remain on the front foot. So it's a combination of all things, and like you've just alluded to, talking about it and working out on the training pitch ideas to try and obviously come up with solutions is what we're going to be doing over the next week, whether it be tactical, whether it be mentality wise, whether it be personnel wise. There's all things that you can consider, and as I say, it's all about coming up with the right formula moving up into the Grimsby game.
It's a complete new group that you've assembled, that you're working with. In those sort of discussions, those video classrooms that you call it, that you have certain time with the players, are you getting good feedback? Are players, coming up with thoughts and comments?
Yeah, we got some, like I say, really intelligent footballers in there, and also experienced players, and those that are in the mid-20s as well. So it's by no means a young group, those boys who've been playing regularly throughout the season thus far. So yeah, there's lots of willingness, if you like, to add their two pence towards what we're working towards. They all care, and when they all care, it's you get lots of varied opinions from the boys in terms of how they think things are going and how they think things can be obviously looked at in terms of moving forward, which is good. It's not just the management team that obviously are trying to move this club forward in terms of the on-field performances. The players certainly are investing in that as well, and it's something that we wanted to get right from the very start when we took the job. Obviously, a full integration of everybody contributing, and that's what we got.
And you mentioned it earlier that it's focused now on Grimsby. I'd imagine that's put behind you. You'll take on board certain things into your next game, but it's focused Grimsby. Yeah,
we've had a good look at them this morning, and it'd be a really tough fixture. They've done really well since their opening day loss, and that was against Leyton Orient, wasn't it? Who were obviously flying high. So they're undefeated in the league other than that first game. Obviously, they did a number on us in the Carabao Cup, didn't they? Albeit, obviously, it won't be anywhere near resembling the team that we played in that on Saturday. But nonetheless, they're in a good run of form, and Paul Hurst done remarkably well there in terms of bringing them back up at the first time of asking. And they've taken that momentum of, winning through the playoffs. And they negotiated the playoffs the hard way, didn't they? They had to play 3 ties to come back up, and brought that into this season, and he's recruited some good players off the back of the summer as well.
As you mentioned, the Carabao Cup went against you. It was a much changed side. That will be completely different come 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. But you did spot the way that they scored the goals against you. There was a lot of cross balls into the penalty area, free kicks, set plays. Are you still expecting that type of sort of way that they're going to play? Yeah,
well, in terms of set plays, they're obviously and understandably so going to see that as an area that perhaps they could try and expose, because 3 of their 4 goals were from free kicks, weren't they? But they play some good football as well. They've got a strong midfield, got some good footballers in the middle of the pitch. So they're not just going to miss out that midfield, because otherwise they won't be utilising their strengths. And they've got some pace in the top area of the pitch, and they've got some experience in Smith and Waterfall at the back as well. So they've got a good mix and blend, which should ensure that they're going to have a successful season this year.
And the one thing it is for you is the next game. It's that opportunity to bounce back. You mentioned that as well earlier. No back-to-back defeats. That's certainly on the agenda to keep that intact.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the defeats always get taken a little bit more personally, don't they, by everybody, compared to the euphoria that comes from winning games of football. I think that's just the nature of the beast, isn't it? I never get excited at all when we win a game of football and move on to the next, because I know what's coming. Whereas the defeats, it's important not to get too low, because I know the supporters do. It's only natural, because they live and die by wanting to see their team win a game of football. And when that doesn't happen, particularly when you lose at home, there's an inquest in terms of of why and how and what can be done better to ensure it, doesn't become a common occurrence. So yeah, we want to bounce back straight away, and as I said earlier, it's always important in these situations, if you're a good team, to ensure that you don't follow one defeat with another. Good teams don't lose 2 league games on the spin, and that's something we'll certainly be aiming to ensure doesn't happen to us this coming Saturday. 20
minutes of first team football for Chris Long last time out as well. I would think that's a relief for him, a relief for you, because that's where you need some options at the top end of the pitch.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, in truth, 20 minutes wasn't what we were bargaining for with him. He wasn't really at the stage where he could manage 20 in terms of the injury, but needs were must in terms of getting him on the pitch, because at that point we'd gone 2-1 down. But he's going to have a full week of training ahead of him this week, which will mean he'll be much further along the road in terms of being available for selection at Grimsby in terms of match minutes. We're really hopeful in terms of Lachlan being available for the following Saturday. He's coming along really quickly, and there'll be some good news moving into Saturday as well with Rio Adebisi, we're hopeful. So the bench will look certainly very strong compared to what we've had in previous weeks moving into the next couple of weeks.
It's crucial, isn't it, for you as a manager, that you've got the best bench available that you can select through the injuries now being free, touch wood. Yeah,
absolutely. You're only as strong as the 16, 17, 18 players that you've got in your squad. Your success is never just built on a starting 11. It just can't, in terms of the volume of games that you have to withstand throughout a regular League 2 season, plus the cups on top of that. You're looking at 55 odd games, aren't you, if you go well in the cups, and you add on the group stages of this Football League trophy. So yeah, it's good to have them back, and hopefully we're all keeping our fingers crossed that as we gain these players back, we then don't lose some, because in football suddenly you gain a few and then all of a sudden 1 or 2 others sustain injuries, and all of a sudden you're back to the numbers you were before. It's our aim to ensure that we keep this squad as fit and healthy as we possibly can.
That transfer window is now firmly shut. Are you now looking forward to getting right amongst the group that you have assembled in terms of coaching and developing them further as you go into the season, your players?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that wasn't compromised during the transfer window really, Graham. We were still doing that because we did a lot of our business early. It allowed us to be less stretched, if you like, and less chaotic towards the back end of the window. As you saw, we were only in a position where we could add loans in the final few weeks through Eli King, and obviously it seems like an age away, but prior to that, the 2 that we did were Lachlan Brook and Kanya Leshabella in the same week, I think, weren't they? So we've had plenty of time to adjust to the fact that we weren't going to do a lot of business unless there were outgoings in the final stages of the window. So the work on the training pitch has been ongoing anyway.
Just your under-23s played, you have the trialist in. I think it's a trialist that's been around the club for quite a long time. I think he did fairly decent for you as well. He's putting himself around for you. What's the situation with that one?
The situation is he trialled with us earlier in the season, and we weren't in a position where we could offer him anything. He is a right back that we like, and we told him to remain training with us in case circumstances change at our end, because again, nothing's changed unless we can free up some money from within. Now, although the window's shut, we can still do loans to clubs outside the Football League. So if one of those circumstances starts to become more apparent, with one of our players going out to a National League club or a National League North club, then it may help us obviously do something in that situation. So he's still training with us, remaining within the group. Obviously there's a degree of luck involved in terms of something dropping both ways, and we always run the risk, of course, of somebody offering him something in the meantime and him walking out the door for the last time. But that's where we're at the minute with regard to that. It's frustrating, but we know where we're at, and we know what has to happen for that to go any further. At the minute, we can't take it any further because of that.